Hey, so today what I want to do is spend a little bit of time talking about our white level for Baylor baseball in a little bit more detail. Last video we were in the lab, the pitching lab over at the ballpark, and we were kind of talking about how everything kind of works together. So today what I want to kind of do is to really go into our white level. If you think back to kind of what we talked about earlier last week, our white level is one layer of our total athlete development picture. Okay, so our white level is what the level is when our guys come onto campus. It's that second semester of the summer school when they just graduated high school. Then they come in and we have about 6 to 8 weeks with those guys, and we learn a lot of different things in regard to foundational tendencies and what we're going to do in regard to training here at Baylor. After that, they matriculate into the green group. Green group is a little bit more oriented towards strength development, a little bit higher level strength development. So we're going to be working off a percentage-based program, and the main thing there is to get strong. After they show proficiency in the green group, we're going to move to the gold group. The gold group is basically once we become strong enough for our position group and for the demands on the field, we want to start moving the bar a little bit faster, moving our body a little bit cleaner. And we use velocity-based training here. We use Tendo and Gym Aware. And then the final tier would be our freak athletes. So guys that reach the black level are guys that may have a career in professional baseball, guys that have extremely specific needs, maybe somebody that is coming back from a long-term injury that has a long-term rehab process going on, and that is an individualized program tailored directly to them. Okay, but today we're going to spend some time with white group. All right, so I want you to look at this timeline here. Let's say this is introduction to sport, or let's say it's to the point where we have an understanding that we're involved in an activity. Okay, so maybe that's 3, 4, 5 years old. Okay, as we progress throughout our athletic career, we're going to reach a point. We're going to reach a point where we'll choose in hopes of remaining active. Okay, remaining active. The worst thing in the world that we can do is to have activity stop. Okay, that stopping of activity as health professionals, that's what we got to prevent. Okay, and I think in the Western world, especially in the United States, we need to do a better job with this, because oftentimes we cater to the people that are the best, and people that don't have as much proficiency, they're kind of left to their own standard. Okay, so we want to continue early on in whether it's recreation, whether it's health and physical education and K-12 education, is putting in great opportunities for these people to develop and learn, so they don't run here, but their path, if they choose and they don't have the ability to go play a professional baseball to career, to move toward a lifelong set of health and wellness. Okay, also with this, we have a lot of people that have participated in activity that may not have the proficiency to play at a high level, that are going to become coaches at this level too. So instead of just stopping activity and not living a healthy lifestyle, if we equip them early on with great experiences, they can then enjoy a lifelong physical fitness lifestyle. We can be healthy, and maybe over time can combat some of the things that we're dealing with in the United States. And they can also be great role models for future baseball players that are coming up, future hockey players, future tracksters, gymnasts, whatever it may be, as coaches. Okay. The other track, as we're coming along, let's say they have a tremendous ability to play the game of baseball. Well, the likelihood of a professional career is certainly there. Okay, so we want to prepare them for the demands of a long career, no matter how long that could be in professional baseball. Okay, so it's basically just a timeline with 2 areas that we want to develop: a lifelong active lifestyle or a professional baseball career. We want to stay away from inactivity and getting people to dislike that. Okay, so along this period of time, there's going to be some windows of trainability that occur. Most of the time, those are going to be before they get to us at the college level. Okay, there's windows for physical fitness, suppleness. There's a couple different speed windows that occur through here. There's periods of time where skills need to be developed, especially like a game like baseball, where I have to have the ability to have hand-eye coordination, how I have to have transfer of my weight. A game like soccer, I need to be getting foot on the ball early on during this period of time. Sports that rely on aerials, where I'm in the air, like gymnastics, ski jumping, anything that may be on ice like hockey, I need to get those skills, or at least introduced to those skills early on. I don't have to specialize early on, but I need to get around those skills early on. Then as we get toward puberty, as we get toward peak height velocity, where our body is rushed with a ton of different types of hormones, that's where strength, that's where stamina can start to come into play, because we now have the capability to put on mass. We have the ability to handle more targeted directions of a single sport, of a single activity. Okay, that's where our athlete development pyramid comes into play. And we talked about this briefly in some other videos a little bit, but our pyramid here, popularized by Coach Al Vermeil, used to be the Chicago Bulls strength coach. Once we get to this period of time in an athlete's career, we can really begin fine-tuning and spending a lot of time in each one of these blocks. To go through it real quick, the first one is work capacity. Work capacity is general fitness. I have to have great work capacity to handle the demands for higher levels of strength. Strength is basically moving a weight and external load without regard for speed. Okay, so it is what it is. I'm strong. Okay, I'm working on strength here. Power is being strong quickly. Okay, so moving a resistance at a high rate. There's two different types of power. There's strength speed and there's speed strength. Strength speed, you can think about your standard movements in the weight room, like cleans and those variations, jerks and those variations. Anytime I'm moving an external load, maybe let's say between 60 and 70%, somewhere through there, at a high rate. Okay. The flip side of that is speed strength. That's moving a light resistance like a med ball extremely fast. There's two different types of power. Then we go into speed. Speed is moving at a high rate with extremely low external resistance. Okay, speed is the most precious athletic quality there is because it's the hardest to develop. And finally, the cherry on the top is the sport skill. Okay, so when we think about white level, we spend a lot of time in work capacity. Okay, we have about 6 to 8 weeks during this orientation phase, so we spend a lot of time preparing them for work capacity. And what's coming next in August, when the entire team comes back from summer ball and playing all over the country, we need to have great work capacity. We need to have the ability to handle the high directions of training that we're going to experience in August. That's why this window period of time of the 6 to 8 week in the summer is so impactful for these guys. Okay, we will also delve into a little bit of low-level strength with our movements in the weight room. Okay, during this period of time, we also talk to our guys about how to train. Why do we do what we do? Okay, it's personal philosophy. I feel as though we need to educate our athletes. I don't need to have them be able to write a program out, the X's and O's and strategies of performance training, but I want them to know why we're doing what we're doing, so that if one day they do get to this point, or hopefully they get to a professional baseball career, they can self-audit their personal experiences at that point. Maybe they have a basic fundamental understanding of how they can create a program for their son, their daughter. Maybe they can audit what they're being done to them in pro ball. Okay, so I want them to know why we do what we do on a foundational level. Okay, foundational qualities. Okay, the foundational qualities for us in this white group, we have to know the dynamic warm-up. We got to have the ability to start and stop. We have to have the ability to change directions. I have to have the ability to follow directions. I need to start behind the line. I need to finish through 11. There's no excuses with that. Okay, but my foundational qualities there are invaluable. Once we go into the weight room, we need to have the ability to squat. Not just back squat. We need to have our ability to body weight squat, front squat, overhead squat, med ball squat, dumbbell squat, any implement squat. The squat pattern is over any one exercise. The next one is a hinge pattern, pushing my hips back by keeping and also keeping a rigid backside. Okay, that hinge, is very difficult to teach, especially for athletes that've never been around it. We teach it by using a good morning, then progressing to an RDL or a front-loaded good morning with like a plate or a med ball. But that hinge position is what we're really trying to work on, and it complements the squat. The squat, the hinge, the next would be a push or a press. We use push-up variations. Throughout the entire career of our athletes, we're going to be doing push-ups, but we start teaching the press or the push by a push-up. Then after that, all we're trying to do over time is to make sure that they can handle the demands of a push in this direction at a 45-degree angle and at different times through their career in an overhead fashion with light weight. The next one would be a pull, very similar to a push except the exact opposite. we typically want to show our athletes how to do a horizontal pull and a vertical pull. A lot of times with our tempos, or with our pulls and our pushes, we use different tempos, different levels of eccentrics, different levels of isometrics to really train our athletes how to handle those ranges of motion. And the last one is a carry. We're just handling an external resistance or our own body as a resistance against itself. Okay, so we use different plank series, hip bridge series, plate carries, farmer's walks, overhead waiter carries. Okay, but that weighted carry is going to allow me to be able to resist rotation. Okay, it's going to allow me to be able to brace, have great posture in movement, and be able to handle even further, more advanced exercises once we progress to green, gold, and then hopefully black level. Okay, during this time too, it's a fantastic opportunity for our guys. See, in the summer, most college baseball players, if they don't have pressing issues on campus that they need to be on campus, or they're not working on a class, they're going to be playing summer ball. So during the July period of time and the first week of August, our freshmen are here on their own. That creates a fantastic, developmentally appropriate opportunity for our freshmen to learn and grow together without the external pressure of veteran athletes judging them or talking to them, or they don't feel like they have to press and perform for those guys. They're with us, our strength and performance staff, and their cohort of athletes. So that's a fantastic opportunity there. In terms of the school, okay, summer school is fantastic for us to learn how to be a college student. It's completely different than being a high school student. I have so much more time in between classes. And because I have so much time, I have to learn how to budget my time in regard to studying, spending time with friends, with people outside. I need to have the ability to get my extra work in on the field, how to handle my recovery. I need to know how to eat. Where is the food? Okay, where am I going to the dining hall? Am I going downtown? This period of time, this 6 to 8 week period of time where it's just a small group of people on campus, incredible opportunity for our guys to get in there. Okay, we learn to follow before we lead. One of the things in this white level is it is very driven by the staff. It is very driven by people that have been here in the past. We want our guys that come in this white level, we want to break them down to the point where they understand what we're doing is the culture of what we built over time. Okay, so we need to be great followers. If I ever want to be a great leader, I need to have the ability to follow a group that's going in the right direction. So in terms of following, we want to work on making sure that we start and finish through the line. Okay, my toe is behind the line, and I am prepared for an activity when that ready call comes. Okay, when I'm behind the line, however, that does not mean I'm afraid of it. If I'm behind the line, there's a small space of green in there. There's not a foot because I'm not timid. I'm getting on that line and I'm ready for that coach's call. When I go through a line, if the drill is 10 yards, I'm going 11. If it's 20 yards, I'm going 21. I'm going one extra yard regardless because we're going to finish strong. Also with this following is this idea, and we talk about it in what we call our 5 expectations, is the idea of communication. Okay, echoing is a major skill set during this white level. In order to communicate, we have to have the ability to listen, and we have to have the ability to talk. As a leader, I need to know the people that I'm leading understand the instructions I give them. Because of that, we echo everything, especially in our warm-up. Okay, so if I say ready, everyone says ready. If I say go, everybody echoes go. If I say win, everybody echoes win. That makes sure that I know everybody is on pace with me. And then when we come in the fall and the warm-up is led by our veteran baseball guys, our freshmen can jump right in there. The last little phase here, we are always working on the person. The person I am will always determine the athlete that I'll become. If I can become a better person, the likelihood of me being a better athlete is much higher. If I am suspect off the field, if I do not have great habits and I'm not a really good person off the field, the likelihood of me being consistent over time playing ball is going to be really reduced. Okay, so we're always going to work on the person. We're going to talk about things like the five expectations, the 5 standards. What does it mean to be a male athlete on this campus? We're going to talk about fellowship with other athletes. We're going to talk about taking care of our brand, making sure that we're working to protect our weight room. We always talk about BU's up. We learn about how we exist here at Baylor University. So just kind of in summary, this was our white level. This is when our guys come right off their high school career. They come in, we learn how to train. We learn the ins and outs of our dynamic warm-up and our foundational tenets of everything that we're going to do later on through their career. After that, we continue to work on our guys throughout the weeks. We're going to do something every single day with our guys. It may be training, it may be an activity on the field, it may be an activity down on Cameron Park, downtown Waco, where we just get out in the woods and we just kind of talk and hang out as guys. So a lot of this is all about the development of our young guys, and it really lays the foundation for everything that we're going to do later on down the road.